Hello, 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 and a warm welcome from my side. Again, it's me, it's Svea from the SAP Community team, and I'm really happy to be here together with Priya Puvvada and Akash, both from SAP. So Akash is a software developer, and Priya Puvvada, you know her from the call on February 7th. She is the Customer Solution Adoption Senior Specialist for SAP Build Process Automation. And that's what the call is about today. So it's about automate your Google applications with SAP Build Process Automation. And it's the second call of the series, and another one will follow on February 13th, but I think Priya will cover this in her presentation. So a warm welcome to this community call. And if you have any questions which appear during the presentation, feel free to put it already in the chat. And we are covering this later when the presentation is completed. And during the call, you will get some links from me as always. So of course, the link from the replay of the call from February 7th, and also the link to the call on February 13th. So everything will be there. And now I wish you a lot of fun with this topic here today, with this community live stream. And I hand over to you, Priya. Welcome. And Priya, you are still on mute. So
yeah, sorry. Yeah. A warm welcome from my side as well. So in the previous session, I think I'll just go to a disclaimer one just before we enter the session. In the previous community call, which was held on February 7th, you would have got an overview on how do we integrate SAP Build Process Automation and Google Cloud applications. You have even learned the authorization mechanisms on how SAP Build Process Automation would automate all these cloud applications. So today's session is about detailing how do you automate all your Google Workspace products like Google Slides, Google Drive, Gmail, Google Docs, and also the Google Sheets. So SAP Build Process Automation has introduced Google Workspace SDK to automate all the Google Workspace products. So there are many activities, and all these activities have been grouped into different modules to automate each Google Workspace product. So as you can see, let's get started with one of the Google Workspace product, Google Drive. And you can see there are a lot of activities available for you if you want to automate the file management in Google Drive using the Google Workspace SDK. You can access and delete the files or folders on your drive, download and upload the files in the drive, and can also share the files via an email. And coming to Google Sheets, another workspace product, you can automate your bots to manage and edit the Google Sheets. You can create, open, rename, delete the Google Workspace spreadsheets, and also retrieve the data, set the data to them, and also modify the cells and columns to your Google Sheets. Most important thing is you can share these files via an email to a link as well, where you can share your Google Drive link where your file is stored, and you can share them via an email. You can even import the data. So for example, when I say import data, you have in your local system, your Excel, where you can import this data and create and retrieve this data and create an Google Sheet out of the existing sheet. So you can create a new sheet, or you can copy the existing sheet into a new one. So you can see ample of activities that we are process automation has provided to automate the Google Sheets. And how about email? I know Gmail is the one which most of you will be curious about on how do you manage emails in the Gmail with Google Workspace SDK. So with the new Gmail module, you can automate the actions on your emails like searching, reading, and also sending out the emails. You can retrieve the attachments to the email, download it either to your local system, or you can download it to your drive. You can add attachments to your email body as well. And Google Slides. So one of the most presentations which we generally like to automate. And how do you manage this automate these presentations with the Google Slides in Workspace SDK? So you have the actions like creating the new presentation, adding a list to your presentations. You can add new slides and also edit the content in your slides by inserting the text, images, a table, and also a list. You can even add the headers, slide headers as well. And Google Documents. You can manage your documents in the Google Docs, and you can automate them by, you can create, read, delete your Google Documents. You can insert and replace text, create, delete for headers and footers on your documents. You can retrieve these files from your Google Drive using the document IDs. So like files like get file, and you can just mention your file ID and you can retrieve all those documents as well. And calendars and meetings, a Google Calendar, another workspace product. How do you automate it? And what are all the activities SAP Build Process Automation is providing you? You can create, update, and send events via Google Calendar. You can retrieve all the list of the calendars in the account. You can retrieve even the list of the events for the given specified time range in the Google Calendar. You can fetch the invitee availability as well from the Google Calendar. So before we get into the next things, let's have a demo on how do you automate all these workspace products. So let me get into the demo now. So in a previous session, I have explained you what are all the authorization mechanism Google SAP Build Process Automation supports to automate all the Google Workspace product. So one of them is the service account and the OAuth account. So in today's demo, I'd be considering the authorization mechanism of a service account. So before you start using the activity of authorizing the service account, so you have to make sure that you download all the credentials that you have downloaded it. So make sure that you have a service account in your Google Cloud Console. You create it, you create a project. And also, once you create your project, you have to go to your credentials.
And are you going to share the demo?
Yeah, I'm already doing that, didn't I?
No, at the moment, we still see your slides.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just give me.
No problem. Absolutely no problem. And while we are waiting for the demo to show up, please remember to ask your questions in the chat. And the demo will come up very soon.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. So just to repeat what I have said, this is automation and authorization mechanisms or service account and OAuth account. In today's demo, I would be showing about this using the authorization mechanism of service account here. And if you look at the parameters of how do you authorize your SAP process automation, it's nothing but you're authorizing your bot to automate all the Google Workspace product. You have a service account keeper. So what are the parameters that you have to enter here? Once you have successfully created your service account in the Cloud Console, you have to download your credentials and store it in a safe place to avoid the credential leakages. So, and also make sure that you enable all the APIs. We talked about the products, Google Cloud products, about Gmail, Drive, and Sheets. You have to enable all these APIs so that you're giving the authorization to your bot to automate the services, all these applications. So let me show you how do you enable all of them. So in this Google Workspace, you have to activate the products of Drive, Calendar. SAP Support Build Process Automation gives an option to automate Drive, Calendar, Gmail, Sheets, Workspace, and you have the slides as well, calendar and slides as well. So how do you enable it? So make sure that all of them are enabled. I have already enabled it. So that's the reason why you can see it as API enabled. So don't forget, these are the prerequisites before you start automating your Google Workspace products. So I've already downloaded my credentials and have it in a path. And when you come to the scopes, what are all the products that you want to automate? So I wanted docs, sheets, and slides. So I've added Google Drive as a scope here. If you want to automate even Gmail, then you have to add the scope as Gmail here. You have this you have this Gmail scope to be added. So based on the products that you want to automate, Google Cloud products, you have to select the scope accordingly. And Google Cloud Platform Services is to automate your Google Cloud services. I'll just delete it because I'm as of now doing for doc sheets and the slides. So this is the authorization that we have to use. For the modularization purpose, we should always make sure that when I'm automating, I've reused my automation. So let's get into the how do we automate the docs. So the Google document, let's see the demo on how do you automate the Google documents. So the first step is always authorization. Once you're authorized, the subsequent steps can include the steps that are automating any of the workspace products. I've authorized, and in this automation, I've built where you create a Google document with a name automation document, and I insert the text. As you can see here, the parameters of text to insert, or you can mention the text that you would like to insert. I created a header and footer for the document. I get the document. So there are two ways. How do you retrieve the document? You can either mention the document ID from your Google Drive, or if you're already using the created document in the existing automation, you can retrieve it from the previous steps. So once I get the document, I replace it and disconnect Google. So disconnect Google is another activity provided by Google Authorization SDK, where you have to disconnect your service account or any of the accounts, either OAuth or service account, once you finish the automation. And what are all the dependencies that you have to add it to get all these activities? So when you look at the dependencies, the Google Authorization SDK has to be added as a dependency to have all your authorization activities, and Google Workspace as a dependency to retrieve all the activities to automate your Google Workspace products. Okay, now let's execute this automation and see that automation is where your bot would create a document in your Drive. So I've already given my service account and email. So if you give your user email, it would create the document in your Drive. So in the Drive, I've already kept open and kept my Drive as well here. You can retrieve your documents either from the Drive, or you can open it from the docs here, docs application, and also check whether the document is created or not. If you see the document here, you can see that the automation document which I was talking about is this one. So it would create a automation document with the headers, footers, and also you can see that a footer has added, and I have added a plain text. The bot has added a plain text and the footer and the text here. So this is how you can automate your Google Cloud Google documents here. Now let's go to the next survey, next product about the Google Sheets. Okay, I just closed it. In the Google Sheets, the primary thing is you have to authorize. So I've reused my automation of Google authorization. So I have in this automation, the bot would import. I mentioned in my previous presentation saying that the activities were provided to import the data. I would say an Excel sheet, and you can take a Microsoft Excel sheet as well, and it would create a Google worksheet for your corresponding sheet. So I've used import and created activity, import and create Google Sheet activity. So I provided the location of my local path where it is available. and where has to be the path of it, and it would create in your Google Drive. So this is the Excel sheet which I have it in my local folder, and there's a path which I'm mentioning. And once I import it, I want to rename my spreadsheet. So you have the activities where you can rename the spreadsheet, get the details of what are all the spreadsheet details. You can retrieve all the content of your sheet, like using last row, get value cells. I can even add an additional sheet to my existing sheet using the add sheet activity and set the values, rename it, and many other operations are possible with the Google Sheets. And finally, you have to disconnect your service. So let me execute this automation as well. And I would even provide the path where my Excel sheet is stored. So let me go to my drive when the automation is getting executed. So you would see a file created, the order details. As I mentioned, I have created the local file was with the name sales order details, and here I added it as order details. Let us try opening that. So the same Microsoft Excel, so all the data it's created as a Google sheet here, and the same details are available. And as you can see, the bot has created a new sheet with the updated order status. So you can see all the capabilities provided by SAP Build Process Automation. So many activities provided where you can create a sheet, set the ranges, retrieve the details, and all the operations that you can perform with the Google Sheets. A new sheet with all the updated details. Now let's get into the another workspace product on slides. So with the slides, a presentation can be created and have authorized. You can create a Google Slides here, and you can provide the required titles. You can add the slides, headers. You can even create a list, a table format kind, a bulleted list here. And you can even add images to your slides. And once you want to get all the presentation details, and later on, if you want to modify it, you can even get the first presentation details. And the last but not the least activity is a disconnect, where you would disconnect once you finish your automation. So let's execute this. And a presentation would be, Google Slide would be created in your drive. So let's go to the drive now. And in your drive, the presentation is created. As you can see here, the automation presentation with the title has been created with the header as Hello SAP Build Process Automation. A list is being created, a header, and also an image is created. The bot has created a new slide with the images as well. And now let's see how do you, and let's talk about the Gmail one, where how you would read the activities, send emails, and also search for the emails. So I'll be showing you how do you automate the other Google Workspace product, Gmail. So automation includes where you would try, where it would search for all the emails. So it searches for all the emails with a particular subject that you want to search, and also the senders. So if the email is found, it would retrieve all these details. So when you read the email, you have an option. If the email contains attachments, if you want to store the attachments in your drive or in your local path. So you have an option to provide that, and you can even reply back using the send reply activity to the current email as well. There are many other activities available where you can explore it on your own for the Gmail. So let's try executing this automation now. And it would reply to the email. So you have to enter the subject. So I have an email which is with the subject purchase order, and I want to search it from my email ID as well, my Google account, I would say. So when you execute this, so you can see in your drive, in your email, when you search for the activities, the bot would even search the mails which are read or even unread as well. So I already have this purchase orders as a subject, and the sender is from me. And you can see that the bot had replied saying that it has searched for the emails, and I've even replied to this saying, thanks for sending the list, and I'll look into it. So you have an option where you can send the replies as well. And now I even want to show you that how if you want to explore on performing all these operations, we have even provided you the enablement content on how do you use these use and automate all these Google Workspace products. So don't worry, we have detailed all these steps in our developer tutorials, and you can explore them. If you are stuck in any of the steps, you can even refer to the Google Store sample, where we have created it as in a store in the learning content and how to use Google Workspace, where you can see the operations and all the automations on automating all the Google Workspace products of slides, docs, drive, and sheets as well. So it's an end-to-end package if you want to explore on how do you automate all the Google Workspace products. And now Akash would show you how do we automate a real-time scenario of automating the sales order creation and posting, creating a sales order creation S/4HANA system using Google Workspace SDK. So over to you, Akash.
Thank you, Priya. Welcome everyone to the session. So let me quickly share my screen. Yeah. So everyone from the previous sessions and from the previous slides of Priya, you might be aware that we support a wide range of activities for all the Google products. So in the workspace, especially, and we have a separate authorization SDK where we support OAuth and service account mechanisms. So you might be aware of everything. So here I have made an automation picking all the activities. I mean, almost important activities from all the SDKs possible, and I've prepared a real-time business use case. So this bot, what it will do is, you'll be getting a mail like this in your inbox. Let's assume this is a prerequisite here. So I'll be getting a mail in my inbox with the subject purchase order, and I'll be getting an attachment in the form of Excel, which contains the purchase order details. So basically this Excel attachment will look like this. So you'll be having the header information, and you'll be having all the necessary details to create a sales order in your system, S4 system. So now our bot will read this particular mail and download this Excel file to a location in our drive. This is the location where the attachment will go, and from here, from that location, it will fetch the file and it will convert that into a Google Sheet, and then it will fetch all the information from the Google Sheet, and it will post it to the sales order creation bot. So either the sales order can be created using the recorder, the automation created using the recorder, or you can call the APIs to create the sales order. So this is how the bot looks. And then finally, after creating the sales order, it will just rename the spreadsheet as processed. It will suffix the title with the processed, and then it will send a reply attaching the processed Google Sheet. And here is the here is the list of activities used in this automation. So now let me walk through this activities in this automation. So I'm using a service account authorization mechanism, and then I have a key file with me in my local system. Then I have mentioned that there, and then I have added the necessary scopes, and I have provided the user email. Then as a next step, what I'll do is I'll use the Google Drive activity. Now I'll get the folder details of this particular folder, purchase order. So where it will return the folder ID of this particular folder. Then I'll use that to download all the attachment to this location. Then as a next step, so we'll be searching through all the emails in my inbox with this query. So actually this query has been framed using the Google's documentation. So everything is mentioned in Google's documentation. The query is completely dependent on that. You can use that to frame this query. So here the query says that to fetch this purchase order, fetch the email with the subject purchase order, and it should have some attachment, and it should be an unread email, and it has to be an inbox. So if this condition is satisfied, it will pick that particular, it will pick those emails. It will be basically a list of emails. Then it will iterate through all the emails satisfying those conditions. Let's assume in our system, in my inbox, there is only one email as such. So it will iterate through only one email. So there'll be only one iteration here. And then it will read that email. Basically what this read email does is it will return all the message details. It will return all the text information inside the mail, and to all this address information and everything related to the mail. And it will also download the attachments to a location. So the location where we need to download, we should specify here. So whether it is a local file system, or it has to be in Drive. So I have mentioned that to download this attachment in the mail to the Drive location, and here is the Drive ID, which we fetched from the step number 2. And then get file. So basically after downloading this attachment to the location, I'm using a query again here. So this is a Google Drive query. So this is again documented in Google's website. So you can use that. This is basically an API query. So we'll be using this to fetch the files in the particular folder, and it should not be in a trashed state. So it should be actually active, be active. It should not be deleted. And then we'll iterate through all the files. And basically it's an Excel attachment, right? You might have seen in this mail. So it's an Excel attachment here. So now to process this, we should convert this into a Google Sheet. So now we'll iterate through all the Excel sheets in that particular folder, and we'll iterate through it. And using this activity, import and create from Google Sheet, we'll be creating a Google Sheet out of it. So now again, fetch the file from Drive, and this is the current member ID, which is the current file in the iteration. So it will fetch the file, and it will convert that into a G sheet. And then later I will delete that sheet. Delete the Excel sheet after converting that into a Google Sheet. And then from the Google Sheet, I'll be getting all the information. That is from the purchase order sheet, I'll be getting the information from range A2 to M2. So here you can see this is A2 to M2. I'll be getting everything from the purchase order sheet. So this is what has been parameterized here. So here from this sheet, I'll be getting all this information. Then I'll be logging a message, which simply shows us the extracted data. And then I'm posting that, posting that, say purchase order information to this particular bot. And then this bot either does, the bot might have been prepared by using a recorder, or it may be a API call. So anyway, we have all the information ready to make create a purchase sales order. So I'll be passing all this information to the sales order creation bot, and then this bot is expected to return me a ID, sales order ID. So then what I'll do is I'll rename the spreadsheet and suffix the title with processed, and then I'll be sending a reply. So here in the reply mail, you can see the is HTML body parameter is marked as true. So what it actually means is the entire body, what are the value I'll give here, it will be rendered as an HTML. So here you can see this is a plain HTML, and here I have used a few tags, and I have two values injected to this HTML. So one is sales order ID from my sales order bot, and the spreadsheet URL. So it will add my spreadsheets, I mean processed spreadsheets URL to the reply mail. So this is how it works. So now let me run this automation. So now you can see how our activities work together from the multiple modules, like from multiple products. Everything works together, and it solves a business use case.
And now you would have seen the power of how we have combined Google Sheets, Gmail, and most of the Google Workspace products here. It's a very good use case if your companies are using Google Workspace products as their office suite. In a fraction of seconds, you're automating the entire sales order creation, and where the sales order is getting created in S/4HANA system.
So now you could see it got authorized, and it searches and it goes through the first mail, and it reads the first email, gets the file, and then it converts that into a sheet, and it deletes the old Excel sheet and gets the value from that, and then it creates a sales order. You can see the sales order information, I mean the purchase order information extracted from the sheet is printed here, and then it renames the spreadsheet and it sets the reply. So now let me take you through the results, like how it looks like. So first, you might have seen the extracted data from the purchase order. So this is the extracted data. So this is how it looks. Let me expand this. So this is how it looks. It is an array. So you can find all the information here. So this information will be passed to the sales order creation bot. So now what happens is after extracting, I mean, after downloading the attachment from the sheet, it just converts that into a purchase order. It just converts into a purchase order details Google Sheet. And then later after processing, it will suffix this title with processed. So whatever activities we wanted to perform in Drive is done here. And when it comes to Google Sheet, you can see when I refresh, you can see there's a reply mail here. So you can see do not reply, and it has got a sales order ID, which is an injected value. And then you will be getting a link for the process document. When you click this, it will go to the Google Sheet processed document. Yeah, so here is the process document. So then yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Akash. So you have seen a live use case on how the purchase order retails once it's available in an Gmail, and the sales order is getting created in the S4 system. Now, I know most of you would have been waiting even for the next sessions. Let me even show you what are the next sessions in line for you. In the first two sessions, you have got an overview on how do you authorize your SAP Build Process Automation for automating the Google Cloud applications. Now, you already got a very good idea about how do you automate your Google Workspace products. And we have provided you all the content where you can do your hands-on experience as well. And the next community call is about the Google Document and Vision AI, which is on February 13th. Where we would be detailing on how do you automate your Google documents as well. You can refer to our blog post on SAP Build Process Automation and the Google Cloud integration, the demo video that we have, the sales order creation with Akash had shown. We have even created a video for your reference. We have the sample content. If you had stuck with any of your content, you can just check through that, and the developer tutorials and many other community blog posts which explain about the SAP Build Process Automation integration with the Google Cloud applications. So thank you, everyone. So over to you, Svea. If you have any questions, I and Akash are here to answer them.
That's really cool. Thanks so much. And please stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
But this were really great information. And I have added the link to the call for February 13th here in the chat, and not that only link. There were so many links I shared with you. So, for example, the community topic page for SAP Build Process Automation, the profiles, the community profiles from Akash and Priya, so that you can follow them in SAP Community. And you might want to share your link as well, so that we can follow back. This is always a good opportunity to connect. And of course, the replay from the first call has also been added here. And there was a question from Vijaya about the tutorial link. Also here, I have added the link to the tutorial, and you can also find the learning content for the Google Workspace in the chat. So scroll up, and there will be everything for you to consume. So if you have a question, and there was no question until now, besides the one about the tutorial. So if you have a question, you can write it down right now. And it's a great opportunity for you to connect with our speakers live on YouTube, right? So you do not even have to speak up. You can just write your questions down. And Akash and Priya are really happy to answer this question. And if you identify your questions later, then please join the next call on February 13th, where also Priya is a speaker, and I'm pretty sure she's able to answer your questions there.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And we would be even sharing the presentation. So Svea would be sharing the presentations to you as well after the meeting.
Yeah, it will be added in a couple of days. So follow this stream, like it, and bookmark it in YouTube, and then you can refer to the presentation as well. And the first person is already thanking you for the session. So I can also only thank you for having been part of this series. And I think it's always helpful for the community to get those insights, and they have the opportunity to watch also the replay, so they can always refer back to the content here. And I think there are no questions, so I count from 3, 2, 1, no question. Then I wish everyone a great rest of the day. And thanks again, Akash and Priya. And Priya, we talk to each other on the February 13th. So I'm looking forward to the next call, and have everyone a great rest of the day. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.